Welcome to the final day in Lisbon for the Shira'aa CSIO Lisbon 2026. It has been a week more than just about sport alone. It's been about the return of this historic show, the return of the Nations Cup jumping in Lisbon on Friday, and the beginning of a new chapter at this great Portuguese venue. From day one and the Nations Cup victory, the team sport and national pride in Spain on top, to the second day and the BPI Wealth Management Trophy, of course, where Portugal came out on top with that brilliant win from Rodrigo Casteira Almeida. But this is the day it has all been building towards, the Gran Prix Visit Portugal. This is the Grand Prix. The CSIO3 Star 155 Table A competition with jump off is the class that every rider on this start list wants to win. This is the competition that stands alone. It is a class that asks for scope, precision, courage and composure. And then if you're good enough, you make it to the jump off. And then, of course, it'll ask all that again, and speed as well. This is where the best combinations have to show at their very, very best. And what a lineup we have from Portugal's home stars, with the likes of Rodrigo Casteira Almeida looking perhaps for another win here today with Carina in the Grand Prix. Spain, after their win in the Nations Cup, with a super lineup and horses in great form. There's quality as well with the likes of Pedro Vinícius from Brazil, Michael Pender, who was second yesterday, one of the leading riders from Ireland, and of course a world-class lineup with the Al Shira'aa Stables horses, with the jockeys for the United Arab Emirates, and some very in-form combinations there as well. Always an advantage if you're drawn a little bit later, because you go clear, you come back in the same order to which you delivered that clear. So well done, Alex Rago, coming out the hat and drawn last to go in round one for this Grand Prix. It really is the perfect setting. This crowd have really settled into the rhythm of this show. From the Nations Cup drama to the winning round to the home success, it's been international quality, and now they get the finale. The energy certainly different on Grand Prix day. There's always that extra edge, but the weather is perfect, and the riders know that this is a class that people will remember. Owners know this is the result that carries the weight. The horses feel the atmosphere. The arena sharpens around them, and that man, Bernardo Costa Cabral, has set this track at 1.55 m with a time allowed of 80 seconds. It is €56,900 worth of prize money, and it is what we've been looking forward to over the course of the last 3 days. It is an exciting build-up, but we just wanted to get started. 57 coming forward in that opening round. The major prize on offer this week for the Shira'aa CSIO Lisboa 2026. It is time for the Gran Prix Visit Portugal. As we join the competition, we so far have 3 clears in the opening round. Kabi Arbasham for the USA, Edouard Xavier for France, and Omar Abdelaziz Al-Mazouki for the United Arab Emirates. But there is still plenty to go in this opening round, with 13 of them still to come forward. And this a man for the United Arab Emirates that put together a lovely performance yesterday, but now he's got his top ride, Fonsetti van de Heffink, for made Abdullah Khalifa Amari, who will be hoping to follow the form of 4th place in the Grand Prix in Le Touquet just the other week. Part of the Al Shira'aa stables. This stallion by for pleasure. Been a tremendous horse for the team. Ooh, what a shame. This is a day where you need to be clear to get yourself through, and with the United Arab Emirates already having one through, it's not going to be 2. Down to the water, gets a nice stride over that, and then sitting back, waiting, holding that Lisboa fence. It's quite a narrow fence compared to many of the others, especially after the width of the water. Well, 77-62, safe for the time, but the team watch on and know that 8 penalties being the score puts pay to their challenge here today. For Humaid and Fonsetti van der Heffing, so the focus will turn to the one rider they do have through to that jump off against the clock. And William watching on from the sidelines, he's done an amazing job, the British, of course, international rider that has worked so closely to develop the talent for the Al Shira'aa and the UAE team. Look at this, it's a packed house today. The grandstand is buzzing. The arena, as I mentioned, has got that sort of extra edge, that feel, that real excitement. It's what makes being back in Lisbon so perfect. The start of this new journey at this historic ground as we turn our attention to Tommaso Garadi now for Italy with Madison, the stallion, the 9-year-old. Tommaso's had a good show. His second horse, Itamorcus, has twice finished second in classes already here this week. He was needing his top horse for the big class. But the partnership that have already had a Grand Prix win in Italy in Bustorizio back in February. Ooh, never really got a stride. He was sort of dancing his way into the upright. Maybe just a little bit of greenness then from the 9-year-old. Gets away with a little rub. Now comes into the final line. And that's another fence to fall. The tests just keep coming. Crosses the line, safe at the time, but unfortunately 79.91 is only just inside the time, but is judged as needed. But either way, 8 is the score for the 2 fences down. Tommaso Gerardi there for Italy, but the Italians still with another chance to come in this opening round of the Gran Piano Visit Portugal. Francesco watching on, I'm sure, giving as much advice as he can to these young Italian stars. Well, the next to go, I could still perhaps call him young, but it would be perhaps wrong, but what he is world class. There is no doubt about it. Edu has won some of the biggest classes around the world. His longevity in this sport is something. 3 times an Olympic rider, Eduardo Alvarez Azanar. Of course, has played such a key role in Spanish jumping, without doubt one of their best. This horse is Harlequin. Harlequin des Fleuges, the stallion that is 9 years of age. But not to be, again, just finding their way to the orange upright. It's a shame, but it is a horse that's only recently just sort of stepped up. This will only be their second 155 class. It's a horse he's been producing all the way through since its international sort of 3-star debut over the last 3 years. Into the final line and try to keep it to a score of 4 if he can. At the moment, we haven't had a huge number of clears, so I was about to talk about the time, and that is a good time. 75.57. If you remember, we have 3 clears. That therefore becomes the fastest 4. In a class with so much prize money, we don't get a huge number of clears. If you end up finishing, I don't know, 7th or 8th or 9th, you're still going to be in the money, even if it's a fast 4 from the opening round. You would have much preferred the clear round, but you can't always get what you want. Not in this sport. Bad luck to Eduardo Alvarez Azanar. not to be for Spain after the highs of Nations Cup Day. Well, now talking of the highs of Nations Cup Day, France, of course, took third. That lovely podium performance. And this is a combination that were part of that. Quinoa de Fringe and Frederic Bouvard. They jumped 4 and clear on Nations Cup Day. Being finished in 4th place in Compiègne in the Grand Prix last month. This lovely 10-year-old mare by Douglas. It's had a pretty impressive winter wherever they've jumped. Getting away with 1 or 2 rattles and rolls here. He doesn't want to keep doing that, because otherwise eventually one of them might give in on you. Well, at the moment, he's just got 3 left to jump. But that is it. And with that first part of the final line going down, his chance goes with it. What a shame. So much went right, but sadly one fence goes down, and Quinoa finishes on a score of 4. Been an impressive few days for those two, though. I think that's a horse that we'll see plenty more of. And again, these 3-star Nations Cup competitions that we saw, and then the Grand Prix coming 2 days later, gives these combinations a tremendous opportunity to really prove how good they are to selectors going forward. So we still remain with the 3 clear rounds. Well, they walk back towards the warm-up. Stopped for inspection. Meanwhile, we get to look at one of Brazil's very best, and a rider that has competed at, what now, 4 Olympic Games? Hong Kong, Rio, Tokyo and Paris. Part of gold medal winning teams at Pan Am Games. He's ridden at World Championships. This, of course, is Pedro Vinícius. He's been a lovely partner to him as well. Nimrod de Mus Imperio Rapicio. He's gelding now 15 years of age. Was on the podium last month in Oliva. He also won the Grand Prix back at the end of last year, the 4-star Grand Prix down in Spain. It's a horse that he jumped at the Nations Cup final in Barcelona. He was double clear last year in Le Boule, took him to 4th place in that Grand Prix. And so far so good here in Lisbon. Today is a day where you need your best to be at their best, and that is exactly what has come together for Nimrod and Pedro Vinícius. Brazil have a part to play in the jump-off here. It is a clear round number 4. 4 through. 4 riders, 4 nations, the USA, France and the United Arab Emirates, now joined by Brazil as well, a truly international field. Lovely shot there in slow-mo over that fence. Never in doubt, really. That looked foot perfect from start to finish, and that was what it was. But now he can concentrate on that jump-off. Really are trying to find anywhere to sit out and about around this showground today. The stands are absolutely packed. Well, there'll be plenty of support for the next to go, because it's the turn of Jean Marquilis, Portugal, looking to try and get one of their riders through, with 3 opportunities still to come in this round. Eureka de Venay put together a nice performance on the opening day. It is a partnership, again, that know each other well, but again a fence goes down. It's early in the course as well. "12-year-old went out to the United Arab Emirates, as he always does at the start of the year. Such a shame, because these two had a lovely Grand Prix win last year, but in terms of, he's jumped a few 150s, he's jumped a few 155s, but then he drops the horse back down and then moves back up, and he's sort of done that again recently. So often the case with riders, just pick the right moments in their plans to step their horses up through the heights and then drop them back down, just to allow the confidence again to really build. And that, unfortunately, not the perfect start to the final line, not the perfect round, but 16 is the score, and he does cross the finish line there, Jean Baquilis, with the 12-year-old Eureka Duvenet. Portugal still looking to try and find a rider through to the jump-off round, still with chances to come. Still 7 more in total to come. Not only Portugal, Italy, the USA, France and Switzerland, with riders left to come in the draw in the Gran Premio Visit Portugal. There's the clear rounds so far. Katie Abramson, Edouard Chavet, Omar Abdulaziz Mazuki and Pedro Vinis. 4 is good, but can we find more? More is always better. That's my view. Well, the focus turns now to a young man from Switzerland who has certainly been showing his qualities. Delivered a brilliant clear round in the Nations Cup competition in the first round when the Swiss were leading all with those clears. Unfortunately, the second round not quite so easy. These two ended up picking up 8 in the second round, but this is Dallas DG and Linus Hesselman. A man that has been such a prolific part of all the youth teams, coming all the way up through the rankings, including taking a team medal at junior level. He rode Linaro in the Nations Cup, but this is his Grand Prix ride today that's perhaps got a little bit more form behind them. What a shame he's had a fence down. Switzerland have got quite some lineup of riders, but they continue to produce these young talents so successfully. You'll be pleased, despite the fences going down, that the rest of the round went as well as it did. There's always that tinge of disappointment that you haven't quite got the round you ultimately wanted, which was the clear round. So that was Linus Hesselman. As his journey through the sport continues, Dallas DG. That was the final opportunity for the Swiss as well, so they're going to be missing from the jump-off. We do know that so far, though, the United States have got a part to play in the jump-off with that clear from Katie Abrasom as the first in terms of clear rounds in this Grand Prix, and now they've got another chance. About the next 2 riders to go, both ride for the USA. Here is Elisa Bros riding Consult Picobolo Z. Elisa, who rode at the World Cup finals in 2023. Year-old gelding. Cicero Z. Unfortunately, again, having an early fence down, and it's a shame. This is their first show. Of course, they were on the Nations Cup team. It didn't quite go to plan for USA on day 1, but First show for these two since making the trip over from the US. It's great to see them here in Europe. Unfortunately late now. Not their day today. They've shown through the early part of the year, whether it be Wellington or Lexington, that they can be competitive at this sort of height and level. But today shows you the fine margins and how easy it is for things to turn against you. Alicia Bronze there, finishing on a total of 8. USA know they've got one through, and in fact they've still got another to go. But Alicia, you can see, a little disappointed as the crowd watch on from the sidelines. Beautiful plats. I'm always fascinated by the amazing plats on horses. The grooms and the teams around them work tirelessly. And the horses are always so immaculately turned out, so brilliantly presented, so well cared for and looked after. I mean, the horses are such amazing athletes. Great, you know, testament not only to the rider, but really to the grooms as well, all over the world. Well, another combination that have been in good form at the start of this year, jumping some impressive rounds, including just recently in Lexington. These two, they just missed on the jump off in the 5-star Grand Prix there by picking up a time penalty. But this is Claude, the gelding with the USA's Eleanor Haas. Captain Jack 44. Combination competing regularly in 5-star Grand Prix. It was these two that really delivered one of the high points of that difficult day on Friday in the Al-Shira'aa Nations Cup for Team USA, because these two were clear. Unfortunately, it didn't help the team through to the second round. Final line, Eleanor Haas. And again, it's the first part of that double. It's proving so tricky. The judgment off the corner. And down it goes for Claude. Shame for those two as well, as they finish on that score of 4, and it means the USA will lead the line in the jump off, but they'll only have the 1. As we look towards, we've got now 4 more still to go. Ooh. Looked to be a foot in the water there. But maybe, in fact, I might take that back. It perhaps was just a bit of dirt kicking back up. It's very hard to tell, and at the end of the day, the judge's there and the plastine's there, so I would suspect it was just a little bit of dirt, maybe out of the hoof, flying back and making a splash. So just the 1 down, and the score is 4 as the combination moved back to the warm-up. The crowd certainly warming up for this one, because this is one they really are trying to get behind, because, of course, Portugal's still at the moment missing from the jump-off. What about this man? Of course, he is just the most outstanding athlete when it comes to all-round equestrianism. Of course, has been a very successful event rider, and then turned his attention and full focus to the world as show jumping. Sibra here with his lovely partner Dorados too, a twice championship partner, both at European level, a horse that took him to the Olympic Games in 2024 in Paris. Now 13 years of age. In Madrid last week. Put together 2 great clear rounds there. Started the year in Doha with some, again, brilliant performances. but today in front of his home crowd, in front of everybody here in Lisbon. It's not personal pride, it's national pride. All getting to the edge of their seat, and that is why, because he's done it. Oh, Portugal get there clear. And look who it is. He is such a reliable star when he needed a big round, when this crowd were desperate for one. Shira'aa delivers on Rados. The Olympic combination, the championship partners, looking as good as ever. And making it look so simple. When it all comes together, it always does. And the smile says it all. He is an amazing rider. And of course, at the moment, if things stay as they are, of course, there's still 3 to go. He would then be the last to go in the jump off. And what a position to put those two in when they can be exceptionally quick against the clock. We have got 5 through to that jump off round. It is all about the quality of the combinations, and there is huge amount of quality now into that jump-off round. Well, there's 3 left to go. Portugal yet have another, but so do France and so do Italy. But whatever happens now, the hopes of Lisbon are certainly going to be pinned on that man's shoulders when he comes back in that jump-off round for this Gran Premio visit to Portugal. Now to Carolina Babalucci. The Italian join in as well. This is Image van Winkenshoff Z. Not to be. The Grupo fence falls. This mare's 11 years of age. It'd be worth noting. She has another down. Actually, it is a combination together that this horse really just stepping up today. It's their first time jumping at 155. In fact, their first time jumping over 145. So they've had the form on the run into this event. You can see why within the program they've decided that now is the time to step up. To the final line on a total of 12. That goes up a little more. Jumps the last, safe with the clock. Yes, indeed, inside the 80 seconds. So it is the fences that fall. 4 down, 16 penalties is the final mark for Carolina Babalucci and Image van Winkenshoff Z. The crowd already building towards the next to go as we look back. A little bit disappointed. It's always the tell, isn't it, when you look at the faces at the end. That man's face has a very different story because he knows he is clear and is coming back, Shira'aa. But he'll also know there's another for Portugal that is still to go. And they're down there getting set to start. And he's a man that has already taken a big win on Friday. He took the big win yesterday in the BPI Wealth Management Trophy. That with Com Liqueur. Today with Carolina L. It's Rodrigo Gastel Almeida. This is the partnership at the end of March that won the big Grand Prix in Arezzo. Since have been on Nations Cup duty, delivered the double clear in Belgium just the other week. Again, form is on their side. Delivered the standout round as well for the Nations Cup team here on Friday with that double clear performance. Oh, did well through the combination. jump still to come around this track. He didn't look comfortable coming in. He shortened up and broke the rhythm, and that can so often cause you a problem. So we know it'll just be the one for Portugal. Now look at him pushing down to the water. Wow. I have a feeling. Remember, we've only got 5 clears, and I mentioned earlier on, of course, if you end up being the fastest 4, you could turn yourself into a top 6 currently. And he's really kept the momentum, and he's sort of used taking the stride on the way to the water to speed things up. It won't be what he wanted by any stretch of the imagination, but 72 seconds on the clock, 72.65, is by quite some margin the fastest 4 penalty score. So he has gone into 6th place, but it hasn't quite been the end that he wanted. But I don't think he'll leave here too unhappy after 2 big wins and so much good jumping. With Rodrigo and with Shira'aa, the Portuguese fans have certainly got 2 amazing stars and plenty of other top talent besides that we've seen jumping here. Well, there's one more to go in this Visit Portugal Grand Prix. I recommend visiting Lisbon. It is the most beautiful, beautiful city. So much history, so much culture, and the people so welcoming. It is so good to be back at this venue. And the one combination that is left to go is Alex Arago. Serafina BDH delivered a beautiful clear in the winning round yesterday. Double clear, in fact. They were the fastest in round 1. It put them in pole position in the second round, in that winning round, although I think perhaps leaving a little bit in the tank so that he could get a good round here as well today. But it is the last to go in this round. His other horse, Guilherme de Morse, jumped for the team to 3rd on Friday, but sadly it is not to be in the Grand Prix. It's 9-year-old by Staccato Gold. He has certainly got the ability. But it will just be the 5 of them, and the hand's gone up. Fair enough, understand. He knows he's out of play in terms of even trying to pick up a score with a fast 4, but Alex Arago there and Serafina BDHZ closing out this opening round. And that is the replay of him jumping up and over the triple bar, certainly showing the scope, but unfortunately still clipping the back rail. It's such a big stretch. Well, we have 5 to decide the €56,900 prize fund in the Visit Portugal Grand Prix. Here's the lineup and scores at the end of the opening round, with the 5 at the top being the 5 that come back. Rodrigo Castillo Almeida will be disappointed, but still pleased enough to pick up the money there in 6th, ahead of Eduardo Alvarez Aznar and the young Swiss rider Jonas Tefaner. Once again, full marks to Bernardo Costa Cabral. He is the course designer, the Portuguese course designer, who has delivered an amazing opening round. It's asked all the right questions when you consider we have 5 clear rounds, and then you look that, you know, all these are 4s and 8s, so you're only talking 1 or 2 or perhaps 3 fences for the majority, the vast majority of the opening round. But the second round, the jump-off round, there are still 7 fences for them to tackle. And they're not only big, they're not only fences you've got to be so careful with jumping, but you've got to be quick as well. KD Abrahamson will be the first to go for the USA. Edouard Chevet for France. Omar Abdelaziz Al-Marzouki for the United Arab Emirates. Then Pedro Vinícius for Brazil, and the home favourite, Durat Sibra, will be the last to go. There's Bernardo putting his final touches to that jump-off round as the crowd sit, wait and watch. The fans are certainly needed today. It's pretty warm out there, but it's a day well worth sitting in the sunshine for, or sitting in the stands, because now is what it's built towards over the last few days. This event back on the calendar, the beginning of a new chapter here for the Shira'aa CSIO Lisbon Once more, after the pause, we are back, and this is now to be a amazing permanent fixture here on the international calendar. We have seen the opening round of this Grand Prix, and now the final chapter is about to be written in this 2026 edition. The first to go, the combination for the United States of America. Katie Abrahamson is going to kick things off. She gave us the opening clear in round one with Kwakalukot Van Het Hulevand Z. What is she able to do in this round? She's had some pretty impressive performances in Ocala over the winter. And what a shame to start like that. It's just heartbreaking when you kick things off and you go with 4 right from the beginning. It all just makes it so much harder. But it at least allows us to see where we're going. She'll know that there is always the risk of others making errors. So if she can be quick, even on a 4, might make the difference of a place later on. Rolling back round the corner. It's a really big turn there. You've got to be so careful. It's a big roll back S-bend, one way then the other. Test your balance all the way through as they cross the line in 43.63. On a score of 4 for Katie. Delivering a lovely clear in the opening round. Just so frustrating for them. I'm frustrated for them because just heartbreaking to see the first fence in the jump off go down, and then they know there's very little they can do. One has gone. 4 to go. There's the first. And the replay they don't want to see. Well, we move our attention, as does this crowd, whether they're in the grandstands or the VIP, to the next combination to go. And this is the chance for France here this afternoon in Lisbon. Edouard Chavet up next. What is he able to do with this ride? He's already delivered a couple of pretty decent rounds over the last 2 days with this horse. He's been showing some pretty good form through the early months of this year, as he did at the end of last year. And as I always say, in any jump off, in any second round, if you are the first to go clear, you are in control because you put the pressure on those that follow. Obviously, the faster you do that, the better chance it is for you. But once you've put the clear up, then the others have got to go and attack you in the time. What can Edouard do today? Ziamia de la Bonzed. He's certainly got the time in his pocket, but we know he needs to leave the fences standing. Gets a big jump out. There's some quick combinations still to come, but he's also trying to make sure he delivers the clear. But he's got a lovely turn here, keeping the rhythm, keeping it smooth, knowing there's one fence left to go. Oh, brilliant performance from the French rider. The family, the team, and they all watch on and cheer. Ziamia de la Bon and Edouard Chavet have set the standard in this Grand Prix. Now, 39.42. He went sub 40 seconds. He has said, catch me if you can, but you cannot make a mistake, because if you do, this class is mine. 3 left to go. Portugal, Brazil, and of course the next up for the United Arab Emirates. Well, can they be caught? That is the big question. The answers to come. As he walks out the arena, he's got a nervous wait for a few minutes to find out. Because now the turn of the challenge from the United Arab Emirates. It is Omar Abdulaziz Al Bouzouki and the beautiful Algeciras stallion Chaco Bay, a horse that ever since it produced that brilliant silver medal in the Young Horse World Championships in the 5-year-old final back in 2019 with Michael Pender, has gone on and on, not only as a breeding stallion, but as a performance stallion, and shown such amazing quality. And in these two as a partnership, boy, do they get on. This year has already seen them Grand Prix winners in Sharjah and delivering some standout performances. This is a big moment for them both here at a show that carries the name of the stable. Omar, though, is a cool cucumber, and that was quite some turn. Talk about confident Omar. The trust in Shira'aa. He has gone all in. The time, though, has ebbed away a little as he's gone on. This is going to be the moment. He's going to gamble. He's got to run. Omar Abdelaziz Al-Marzouki, the Al Shira'aa stables. Shira'aa Bay jumps the last, and has he? Yes, he has indeed. By nearly a second. What a performance from the pair of them. Top notch, thumbs up. This is some jump off for the Grand Prix here on a Sunday in Lisbon. Shira'aa, now 12 years of age, absolutely in his prime. Those two just seem to find all the right strides and hit all the right notes. What a partnership, but is it enough? The team over the moon as Sammy and the rest of them watching on from the sidelines. But there are two to go. Two world-class riders, two quite brilliant horses. The next of which rides for Brazil. Multiple Olympics behind him. He knows what it's like to compete at the top level under the highest of pressure. And of course, a rider with a horse that has shown it's very capable all the way through to jumping in big double clears at 5-star level as well. It's Pedro Vinícius. The penultimate partnership goes for Brazil. This is Nimrod Demis Imperio de Pisio. That new time to beat is 38.43. The pressure is on, and he's going to have to go for it if he wants to beat Omar. Again, though, unbelievable ability and agility to make those turns. Such great balance and horsemanship. He's taken quite a lot of pace out coming into the double. He's going to need a big stretch, and he's got that scope. But it's cost him a little bit of time. It's just the nip and tuck, really. 3 or 4 tenths, he's come to a stop. It's always always a risk when you get those narrow little fences on the rollback, which you ultimately want to try and jump on the angle. And it's so easy for that sort of thing to happen that you just end up running slightly off the fence, off the front of it. And to make it worse, he's had it down as well. The time then ticks in because there's time penalties and the last goes down. But, I mean, he was absolutely going to try and win it and catch Omar, but unfortunately Pedro comes undone. And it hasn't quite come together with Nimrod Demis Imperio de Pisio. Not to be for Brazil, so the United Arab Emirates still lead the way. He was flapping a little. I think he was hoping, but on this occasion, just didn't go together. Well, either way, in a lot of respects, the story is going to be given quite some ending, because leading the way here at the Al Shira'aa CSIO Lisboa 2026 is the Al Shira'aa Stallions. Shira'aa Bay with Omar Abdelaziz Al-Marzouki. That would be quite some story to win, but it perhaps would be surpassed quite quickly if the hometown favourite could come out on top. The last to go in the Grand Prix. Is it to be his fairy tale, Durate Zebra? And Dorados too. Last to go. The chase is on. And it's not to be. It is Shira'aa's day. Omar wins now. He's got to be quicker than Katie, otherwise he'll end up off the podium. Her time 43.63, so the splits won't be overly relevant because they're based on Omar. What a shame for these two. Still so popular, and they appreciate he gave it his all, but not his day-to-day. Bad luck, Donados and Diretti Sibra. But congratulations to the young man from the United Arab Emirates, and that man is Omar Abdelaziz Al Marzouki, who has beaten a world-class field to the top spot in the Grand Prix Eramo Visit Portugal here for 2026. Delight and congratulations coming his way. He's one of the nicest young men you will ever meet. He is such an asset to this sport. Sammy Kettle out there as well, who works so hard for Al Shira'aa. It's a real team celebration. Everybody is delighted, and so they should be. It is a win for Jaco Bey and Omar Abdelaziz Al Marzouki, ahead of Edouard Chavignier and Diret Sibra here in this phenomenal Grand Prix. Of course, Katie Ebrasim and Pedro Vinicius is also part of the jump-off, and the others that just missed out all have their own hard luck stories to tell. But there is one story to tell, and that, of course, when you get to the end of an event like this, is going to be about your winner. And that winner today is the young man, Omar Abdelaziz Al Marzouki. And it's another win. It's the second Grand Prix win of the year, actually, for that combination. It's been an amazing setting. The people that have been pouring through the gate today have seen some brilliant sport, and what a jump-off we got delivered at the very end as well. Let's, in fact, catch up with our winner of the Grand Prix.
CSIO Lisbon with our winner from the UAE. Omar, we were absolutely delighted with Jaco Bey. What did you feel jumping him this afternoon?
Actually, thank God I'm pleased and winning this Grand Prix here. Jaco Bey has been amazing the whole week. He was double clear in the Nations Cup, and today jumping a double clear in a very historical Grand Prix. Winning it means a lot, especially that Shira'aa Fatima bint Hazza and Hayyan sponsoring this show and bringing it back again. It means a lot, and that's the least we can do for our country.
Talking about Al Shira'aa, how important is to have that support? We can see what it made a huge difference here in the Lisbon CSIO, what it feels to have the support of Al Shira'aa stables behind you.
The vision of Shira'aa Fatima means a lot to us. It started when I was 12 years old, and today I'm 23 years old. Winning this Grand Prix means a lot, and we can see now Al Shira'aa is sponsoring one of the main shows around the world and bringing back historical shows back on the game.
No doubt about that. Talking about Jaco Bey, you're right here this afternoon. As you said, you've jumped double clear in the Nations Cup and also here in the Grand Prix with a beautiful win. What else can we expect from Jaco Bey in the future?
More winning Grand Prix. He proved himself a lot, being a fast stallion, and now Nations Cup horse and a double clear in the Grand Prix. So I think he's stepping up his game, and he trusts me and I trust him a lot.
No doubt, and you have been doing so very well. Actually, talking about a little bit about your career, you're one of the youngest in your country to jump in these big shows. You've already been pretty much everywhere. Where's the next goal? What's the next step for you?
So the next major event for me is the World Equestrian Games in Aachen. I'll be riding my other stallion, which is Enjoy de l'Amour, the one I rode in the Olympics. Looking forward for it, and it's the team behind me, the farrier, the vet, the whole team, the trainers, and above them eventually Shira'aa Fatima bint Hazza and Hayyan for her continuous support for the sport.
And the medal on that wish?
That's obviously a thing for everyone.
Thank you very much, and many congratulations once again for this beautiful win at the Grand Prix. Thank you, Omar Abdelaziz.
And I wouldn't bet against him. So respectful, and of course that amazing support that's come from Sheikh Fatima bin Hazza bin Saeed Al Nahyan, both to the Al Shira'aa riders, but of course to this show here in Lisbon. What a lineup! There they stand, the top five, but that young man has certainly proved his mettle yet again and will take home that beautiful trophy back to the United Arab Emirates as the presentation is made. Well done, Jaco. He's just such a chilled out stallion. He has an amazing horse. He continues to get better and better. But that young man has proved that every time he goes in an arena on any horse he seems to ride, that he can get stronger and better. He has a fabulous relationship with the horses. We've seen so much in terms of fabulous horsemanship over the course of this event. It is so good to see it back on the calendar, and we're looking forward to a bright future and big jumping sport here in Lisbon going forward.